Hello and welcome everyone to our special session meeting. Today is October the 1st. I'd like to call to order this meeting. It is now 4:15. We can start with roll call. I am Amber Solorzano and I am present. Angela Helton,
Present.
Sarah Hayworth,
Present.
David McGovern is absent. Dina Cusies, Dr. Havana Hayes-White,
Here.
Olivia Duran,
Present.
Craig Wilson.
Present.
Wonderful. If I can ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. If we could please place our right hand over our hearts. Ready? Begin. Thank you. Can I please get a motion to approve the agenda?
I motion to approve.
Second.
Aye.
Do we have any communication from the public? Redlands, do we have any Redlands, do we have any communication?
No, none here.
Okay, in Santa Clarita, do we have any communication from the public on your end?
None in Santa Clarita.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for confirming. Now moving on to the information/discussion action agenda. And this is item 7A, the review, discussion, and approval to remove board member presented by myself. Hello, board members. Bringing this matter to your attention has not been easy for me. It is a step I take only after significant reflection and careful consideration. Today, I ask for a motion and a vote to remove fellow board member Dr. Hayes-White from her position. You may be aware of the complaint she has filed in response to the scheduling of the special meeting. I want to assure you with a clear conscience that I have acted with integrity and professionalism. At no point have my actions been discriminatory, harassing, or inappropriate, nor do they reflect poorly on Gorman Learning Charter Network. Her claims are unfounded and unsupported by any facts that I have encountered. This decision is not based solely on my own experiences. Other board members and staff have shared concerns regarding Dr. Hayes-White's conduct. She has refused to engage in flexible scheduling despite the board's need to adapt to circumstances beyond our control. Her refusal to attend 3 consecutive meetings violates our board policies and constitutes grounds for removal. However, her absence are just part of the issues. Reports have come to me regarding her unprofessionalism and demeaning behavior towards staff, administration, and fellow board members. This behavior is hostile and undermines the values and missions of our charter network. We are a collaborative and respectful body, and such conduct cannot be tolerated. In light of these circumstances, I am requesting that this board bring forth a motion to remove Dr. Hayes-White from the board effective immediately. It is crucial that we maintain the integrity, respect, and accountability that this board and Gorman Learning Charter Network deserves. Thank you for your consideration.
Madam President, may I have time to speak?
Absolutely.
Thank you. In response to the latest of a series of behind-the-scenes attacks by the leadership of this governing board that occurred on September 26, 2024, I filed a formal complaint on September 27th, 2024, to the California Department of Education and the Office of Civil Rights, which reads as follows. Uniform Complaint Procedures, UCP complaint. Unlawful discrimination, harassment, intimidation, and bullying in California public schools. Since September 9th, 2024, I have been experiencing a series of attacks from the leadership of the Gorman Board of Directors via text messages to my personal phone, which escalated to include my Gorman email account. The board leadership initiates monthly interactions via text messaging, which is their primary mode of communication between board members, to negotiate revisions to the board meeting calendar, and to schedule what is frequently referred to as emergency meetings. At the onset of the school year, the voted and approved board meeting dates for the 2024-25 academic year were negotiated for rescheduling via text messaging for the months of August and September. The proposed meeting dates conflicted with my work schedule. These text messages resulted with the board leadership excluding me from participating in both the August and September board meetings, as the board leadership scheduled and held these meetings without me. Once I expressed my concerns regarding how poorly governing board business was being conducted, I immediately began to experience retaliation, discrimination, harassment, intimidation, and bullying via email, September 10th, September 23rd, and September 26, 2024, in the forms of 2 requests for my resignation, ignoring my request to gain access to governing board bylaws, and an additional text message to my personal phone asking if I could attend an emergency meeting. This emergency meeting request is the latest attack from the board leadership attempting to continue their exclusion, discriminatory, and retaliation practices. An agenda for a special session scheduled for today, October 1st, was delivered to my Gorman email account in an attempt to permanently exclude and silence my advocacy for students and families of color, approximately 257 students, according to the 2023 California School Dashboard, including faculty and staff of color who are traditionally marginalized in the United States of America. Please note open session item, quote, 7, information, discussion, action agenda, A, review, discussion, and approval to remove board member presented by Amber Solozano, board president, end quote. I certify the statement described above is an accurate account of my grievance. Signed, Governing Board of Directors, Member at Large, Dr. Hayes White, which then prompted me to deliver this letter, which reads as follows. Demand for cure or correct alleged violations of the Ralph M. Brown Act, open meeting law. This letter is to call your attention to what I believe was a substantial violation of a central provision of the Ralph M. Brown Act, which may jeopardize the actions taken by the Gorman Governing Board of Directors during today's special meeting. During a serial meeting beginning on September 10th, 2024, and potentially on September 23rd and September 26th, via a chain of direct communications using technological devices, the leadership of the Gorman Board of Directors began to develop a collective concurrence as to action to be taken on an item by the members of its legislative body. The leadership of the Gorman Board of Directors took action as defined in Government Code Section 54952.6. In doing so, the Board of Directors leadership made a commitment or promise to make a positive or negative decision during the special meeting scheduled for today. Quote, "If I do not receive your resignation before the upcoming October board meeting, I will be making a motion to have the board vote on your removal during that session." President Solorzano, September 23rd, 2024. Quote, "Good afternoon. We need to have an emergency board meeting. Location Lancaster. Please let me know if you are able to attend. Thank you." End quote. Secretary Hayworth, September 26, 2024. Quote, "Open session 7, information discussion agenda item. A, review, discussion, and approval to remove board member presented by Amber Solorzano, board president," end quote. September 26, 2024. Government Code Section 5495.2B of the Ralph M. Brown Act explicitly prohibits the use of direct communication, personal intermediaries, or technological devices that are employed by a majority of the members of the legislative body to develop a collective concurrence as to be taken on an item by the members of its legislative body. According to Government Code Section 54952.2B1, serial meetings involve communication between members of a legislative body that are less than a quorum, but when all members participate and are considered, it constitutes a majority. For example, a chain of communications involving contact from member A to member B, who then communicates with member C, would constitute a serial meeting. Serial meetings, either in person or by text, email, telephone, fax, or go-betweens, constitute a meeting if done to discuss public business, regardless of whether the group actually forms a consensus. In addition, a serial meeting occurs when intermediaries for board members have a meeting to discuss issues. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54960.1, I, Governing Board of Directors, Member at Large, Dr. Hayes White, demand the Gorman Board of Directors to cure or correct these violations as follows. Number 1, provide each board member hard and electronic copies of the Ralph M. Brown Act, Government Code Section 54950 through 54963. Number 2, provide each board member hard and electronic copies of the governing board bylaws. Number 3, provide an updated comprehensive professional development training sessions for all governing board members that include the following topics. A, effective governance basics. B, charter schools guidance for governance teams. C, the Ralph M. Brown Act, Government Code Section 54950 through 54963. D, Ethics Assembly Bill 2158. Ethics Bill Assembly Bill 2158. Number 4, update and provide the community with full access to all school policies and governing board bylaws via the official school website. Number 5, cease and desist from text messaging board members to conduct governing board business. Number 6, cease and desist from exclusion, discriminatory, retaliation, harassment, intimidation, and bullying practices. Therefore, denying access of proper representation and advocacy of minority groups. According to the 2023 California School Dashboard, approximately 95 African-American students, or 8%, and approximately 162 students with disabilities, or 13.6%, including the faculty and staff of color who serve them. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54960.1 C2 and Section 54960.2B, the Gorman Charter Learning Network Governing Board has 30 days from receipt of this demand letter to cure or correct the challenge violations and inform me of the actions taken to cure or correct. If you fail to cure or correct as demanded, such an action may leave me with no recourse but to seek a judicial invalidation of the challenged action pursuant to Government Code Section 54960.1. In which case, I would ask the court to order Gorman Learning Network to pay my court costs and reasonable attorney fees in this matter pursuant to Government Code Section 54960.5. Signed, Dr. Hayes White, Governing Board of Directors, Member at Large. I now turn the mic over to you.
I motion to approve the removal of Dr. Hayes White.
I'll second.
Do we have any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Any nays or abstains?
Nay.
Motion approved. Thank you, everyone. And it is now 4:32. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, Redlands and Santa Clarita, for joining us. Have a good night.